Earth without humans. 0 to 100 years. Full season. Earth without humans over the next 1 to 10 years. 0 to 1 year. The humans are gone. Cities fall silent. Cars stop. Factories stop. The air clears. Birds and wildlife return. Pets are left to fend for themselves. 1 to 2 years. Air pollution drops sharply. Skies turn blue again. Rivers and lakes begin to recover. Wild animals explore streets and parks. Nature starts reclaiming the concrete jungle. 3 to 5 years. Plants grow in cracks of roads and sidewalks. Buildings begin to show signs of decay. Wildlife populations rise. Dogs and cats form feral packs. Ecosystems begin to stabilize without human interference. 6 to 10 years. Rivers and lakes largely recover from pollution. Vines climb buildings. Trees crack sidewalks. Endangered species start to rebound. Oceans slowly heal. Air and water are cleaner than humans have seen in decades. Nature slowly takes back the planet. Part 2. Earth without human in 10 to 20 years. 10 to 12 years. Forests expand into abandoned suburbs. Highways crack under growing roots. Large animals return to areas humans once controlled. Wolves, bears, and big cats spread into empty cities. 12 to 15 years. Most cars and metal structures start heavy rusting. Bridges weaken without maintenance. Skyscrapers lose windows and begin collapsing from storms. Bird populations explode without pollution or human noise. 15 to 18 years. Coastal cities begin flooding as sea defenses fail. Subways fill with water. Coral reefs start recovering quickly. Endangered species like rhinos and elephants show strong growth. 18 to 20 years. Entire neighborhoods vanish under dense vegetation. Nature fully controls the land. Once crowded cities look like ancient ruins. Earth is quiet. Earth is wild again. Follow for Part 3. Part 3. Earth without human in 20 to 30 years. 20 to 23 years. The last industrial water pumps stop. So many underground tunnels slowly fill with groundwater. Parking lots begin turning into shallow wetlands because drainage systems clog. City trees that were once trimmed now grow freely, breaking sidewalks from underneath. Domestic animals like cows and sheep survive only in a few regions. They cannot compete without humans. 23 to 26 years. Metal street signs and traffic lights fall as bolts loosen from years of wind and rust. Most ships left in ports sink from hull corrosion or water leakage. Abandoned farmlands become ideal spaces for grasses, insects, and small mammals to grow in population. Some abandoned suburbs experience small wildfires because no one stops natural ignition. 26 to 28 years. Roads near forests become blocked by fallen trees after storms. Transmission towers begin to lean or collapse because their foundations weaken. Non-native plants planted by humans start disappearing, while local species dominate again. Lakes and rivers near old cities become clearer due to no new chemical runoff. 28 to 30 years. City rooftops covered with soil and seeds sprouting from bird droppings grow into small gardens. Storms remove the last intact billboards and advertising signs. Some tunnels and overpasses collapse quietly from decades of water damage. Human footprints, buildings, vehicles, structures still exist, but nature is now shaping how they decay. Follow for Part 4. Part 4. Earth without human after 30 to 40 years. 30 to 33 years. Underground sewage systems collapse, creating sinkholes in city streets. Airports and runways crack and become habitats for small mammals and nesting birds. 33 to 36 years. Desertification spreads in areas previously irrigated as pumps and canals no longer function. Former industrial zones start leaching chemicals into soil and groundwater, creating localized toxic sites. 36 to 40 years. Roofs of old houses cave in under accumulated debris and snow in temperate regions. Large abandoned dams begin minor structural failures, changing river flow patterns downstream. Follow for Part 5. Part 5. Earth without human after 40 to 50 years. 40 to 42 years. Tokyo, Japan. Shibuya Crossing is barely recognizable. Road paint has fully faded, traffic lights have collapsed, and creeping plants cover the crosswalks. Tokyo Tower begins losing its top broadcast equipment as decades of typhoon winds loosen bolts and metal joints. 42 to 45 years. Rome, Italy. The Colosseum develops new cracks as plants grow deep inside ancient stone. With no restoration teams, small pieces of the upper ring fall during storms. Trevi Fountain dries out completely. Mineral deposits build up, and the pool becomes a dry basin filled with wind-blown leaves and soil. 45 to 47 years. San Francisco, USA? The Golden Gate Bridge has lost most of its protective paint layers. Fog and salt cause advanced cable corrosion. The structure still stands, but its color fades to a dull, patchy brown. Lombard Street becomes unrecognizable. Ivy, moss, and small trees grow between the bricks, and landslides slowly reshape the famous curves. 47 to 50 years. Beijing, China. The Great Wall of China continues collapsing in remote sections. With no maintenance, certain steep segments crumble entirely and are overtaken by natural vegetation. The Forbidden City faces severe roof decay. Traditional wooden support beams rot, causing several outer buildings to sag or partially collapse. Follow for Part 6. Part 6. Earth without humans after 50 to 60 years. 50 to 52 years. New York City, USA? Brooklyn Bridge. The wooden walkway has rotted away. Several suspension cables show deep corrosion from salt air, and small sections of the bridge deck begin to sag. Empire State Building. Interior floors filled with moisture grow thick layers of mold. Some interior ceilings collapse from decades of water infiltration. 52 to 55 years. Dubai, skyscrapers fade under sand. With no AC systems running, interiors rot from heat. Wind pushes desert sand into the city, burying streets and cars. Burj Khalifa stands tall but dark, its metal surface corroding. Palm Jumeirah sinks as waves reshape the artificial islands. 55 to 57 years. Sydney, Australia. Sydney Opera House. Saltwater spray corrodes the metal under the tiled shells. Several of the iconic roof tiles detach and fall during storms. Harbour Bridge. Advanced rust spreads through the steel arches. Without continuous repainting, the structure shows visible perforation in thinner metal sections. 57 to 60 years. Moscow, Russia. Red Square and Kremlin walls. Seasonal freeze. Thaw cycles widen cracks in the ancient brickwork. Plants take root in the walls, causing sections of the outer fortification to collapse. Moscow metro entrances. Above-ground entrances sink slightly as the soil shifts around abandoned underground tunnels, creating uneven ground and partial collapses. Follow for Part 7. Part 7. Earth without humans after 70 to 80 years. Nuclear sites. 60 to 62 years. Nevada, USA. Area 51 and military storage sites. Hangars collapse under decades of heat and storms. Experimental aircraft rust into skeletons. Underground bunkers flood, burying classified tech forever. 62 to 65. Chernobyl and Fukushima, nuclear disaster zones. Containment structures weaken. Reactor fuel stays dangerous but slowly cools. Forests grow directly over radioactive soil, creating strange, hot forests. 65 to 67. The Pentagon, Washington, D.C. The outer walls crack as no one maintains the stone. Rain and plant roots enter the interior. Documents, servers, and military archives turn to mush or dust. 67 to 70. Global nuclear missile silos. Russia, USA, China. Missiles remain in their underground tubes but become inoperable. Electrical systems fail. Most warheads corrode, becoming impossible to launch. Some isolated silos fill with groundwater and collapse entirely. Follow for Part 8. Part 8. Earth without humans after 70 to 80 years. 70 to 72 years. The U.S. Capitol Building, USA. The dome's metal frame rusts heavily. Large plates fall off. The entire west side becomes a nesting zone for birds and small mammals. Marble steps break apart as plant roots grow through them. 72 to 75 years. Big Ben and Parliament, UK. Big Ben's clock hands freeze permanently as the gears seize from rust. The tower's upper stonework cracks and drops chunks onto the ground. The interior wooden floors collapse from decades of moisture and no maintenance. 78 to 79 years. The Pyramids of Giza, Egypt. The pyramids remain standing, but the outer limestone blocks loosen and fall more frequently. Sandstorms bury parts of the surrounding complex, covering old walkways and buildings. The Sphinx's face shows deeper erosion, with the nose and mouth areas almost unrecognizable. Taj Mahal, 79 to 80 years after humans. The marble turns dull with dark streaks from weather and old pollution. The wooden foundation weakens, causing small cracks in the main dome. The reflecting pool becomes a swamp of algae and insects. The minarets lean slightly as the ground shifts and joints loosen. Like and follow for Part 9. Part 9. Earth without humans after 80 to 90 years. 80 to 83 years. Hoover Dam, USA. Cracks spread through the concrete after decades of no maintenance. Debris blocks the intake towers, water pressure builds, and sections of the structure begin to fail. The reservoir behind it slowly drains through new fractures. 83 to 86 years. Three Gorges Dam, China. Extreme water pressure and unchecked erosion weaken the main spillway. A major collapse releases massive flooding downstream, reshaping entire valleys. The river returns to a wild, uncontrolled state. 86 to 88 years. Suez Canal, Egypt. Sandstorms fill parts of the canal, burying long sections under dunes. Without dredging, the canal becomes too shallow and eventually breaks into disconnected lakes. Seawater flow stops, and the channel becomes a chain of muddy basins. 88 to 89 years. Hagia Sophia, Turkey. Moisture and temperature changes crack the ancient dome again. With no repairs, a partial collapse occurs inside the central hall. Moss and birds take over the structure, turning it into a massive open ruin. 89 to 90 years. Dubai Palm Islands, UAE. Waves reshape the outlines. The palm shape becomes unrecognizable. Sand washes back into the sea, and many sections sink below water level. Luxury villas collapse as the foundations erode. Follow and like. Part 10 is coming. Part 10. Earth without humans after 90 to 100 years. 1. The Statue of Liberty, USA. Copper skin is heavily corroded. Large sections fall off. The iron framework inside weakens, and the torch arm collapses first. The statue still stands but looks skeletal and broken. 2. The Golden Gate Bridge, USA. Suspension cables snap from corrosion. The roadway twists and falls into the ocean during a powerful storm. Only the two giant towers remain sticking out of the water. 3. The Colosseum, Italy. Major outer walls collapse as old mortar fully turns to dust. Vegetation fills the interior. Trees grow where crowds once sat. Earthquakes or storms remove more of the remaining structure. 4. The Pentagon, USA. The roof caves in, leaving a massive hollow ring. Metal beams rust away. The interior fills with forest growth. Wildlife occupies the outer corridors and courtyards. 5. Fukushima plus other nuclear sites, Japan and worldwide. Flooding and corrosion destroy remaining containment barriers. Reactors fully rupture, leaking chemicals into surrounding soil and sea. Nature adapts. Plants regrow, but with mutated ecosystems in the area. 6. Mount Rushmore, USA. Cracks widen through the granite faces. Freeze. Thaw cycles cause noses, cheeks, and edges to break off. By 100 years, the faces look barely recognizable. 7. London Underground, UK. Tunnels collapse from constant flooding and soil pressure. Entire sections turn into underground lakes and caverns. Old trains sit rusted underwater. 8. International space stations falling back. Defunct satellites begin re-entering the atmosphere. Some burn up, others drop debris onto oceans and forests. Space becomes clearer as the last human-made orbits deteriorate. 9. Las Vegas Strip, USA. Casinos collapse from desert sandstorms and foundation decay. Neon signs fall apart. Famous hotels become hollow shells. Sand buries large sections of the strip. 10. The Panama Canal. Locks break apart, flooding the canal uncontrollably. The waterway becomes a natural river again. Tropical forests reclaim the man-made cuts. Follow for Season 2.